Hey everybody, good to be jumping back in and connecting with you. So this post is primarily for women, and this post is about menopause. Yeah, this fun topic of menopause. So when I think of my journey on this journey of life and life changes and life tragedies and life traumas and just life, which is met with many obstacles and many challenges and many lessons. There are times when I think, man, if I would have understood this, if somebody would have explained it this well sooner, man, if I would have only had someone to lead me in this understanding, wow, could it have made a difference? But such is life. I'm learning these awarenesses now, which is a lot later than I had hoped, but nonetheless, we have to deal with now. So, long story short, years ago, I had a car accident. And as a result of that car accident, I've had many issues that resulted originally from that car accident. And many different things that have required multiple levels of medical attention over the years. And when things would flare up, I would just automatically go, oh, that's because of the car accident, and oh, that's because of the car accident. Oh, car accident, right? And I just so happened to be sitting, looking at my current conditions of what I'm dealing with and some of the limitations and modifications that I have to, address and put into practice because I'm not able to do some of the things that I was once previously able to do. And I just kind of was making a mental list of all these problems that I've had. And then all of a sudden I just kind of had a hunch, and I was like, I wonder if all these things are related. And I had never considered that before because I saw them all as individual, isolated kind of things. And, if you have a fall, then that's, I'm thinking, well, that's because I had a fall. So therefore that injury is because of a fall. But not necessarily so, as I'm now connecting the dots in a new way. And I will make sure to link the corresponding videos that I watched that detailed most of this. So long story short, I came across this interview, and it was a medical doctor, female, and she was being interviewed and being asked about her expertise in menopause. And as I was looking at, kind of interesting, these daffodils right here. Okay, anyway, so as I was watching this interview of this doctor who's an expert on menopause, and her name is Dr. Marie Claire Pavar or something like that. And this guy was asking her a bunch of questions to clarify because he wasn't familiar with a lot of these terms, and he was trying to understand it better for his mom and his sister and what have you, maybe a girlfriend or something. And then it was like all, this doctor's like this humongous wealth of information and things that I've never heard before and wish that I had heard before. But it was just like one of those wow moments where you're just like, if I only understood this previously, how different my life could have been, to prevent some of these things from happening. But again, such is life. Sometimes we don't know until we know. So the first thing that I found interesting was just the definition of the terms, which again, I had wrong. So menopause is the point, and again, this is for women. So guys, if you're not a woman, meaning you're not an actual woman with a vagina, this is not going to apply to you. And this is not, for any other person identifying as something they were not genetically born as a woman. This is about women, okay? So the point is that a woman with a vagina is going to have a period, okay? And this period, when a young girl becomes a young woman and she has her first period, she's designated so many eggs. And that is the course of her going through all the different, levels and years of menstruation, of having a period, okay? And again, when I learned about the birds and the bees, and it was never described in that way, like a medical scientific, you have so many eggs, they're going to last this long. Again, that was helpful to have it displayed and described that way. So then she says that in comparison, a man has an ever-ending supply of sperm all the way up until the day that he dies. Like, there's no stopping of a man, meaning, yes, they could have their issues with, getting it up or what have you. But the point is that a man has a sperm all the way till he dies. And a woman, because of her whole timing, is limited to that window. Now, here's the key thing that I never knew, and that is that, women have estrogen and progesterone, and those components are what help keep their bodies alive, lubricated, giving energy, vitality, all those different things. They run all the body systems. And so when a woman loses her, I'm gonna sit for a second. When a woman loses her period, or the beginning of it, that's what they call a premenopausal. Like, maybe she'll have weird or irregular periods, or maybe it will be like spotting, or she may have some of the symptoms of what, quote, menopause symptoms are. But because she's still ovulating, because she still gets a period, because she still has so many other things in her system going well for her, that's premenopause or perimenopause, okay? Then the menopause label is that when a woman stops having her period, meaning it's done, it's over, there's no more period coming. That's like the declaration of menopause, okay? And that period meaning period of time, is like, once there's no more period, then you're post-menopause, meaning you're out of the menopause period, like you're in the post-menopause period, okay? Now, when I think of all the things that happened to me in my lifetime, and like I said, I was looking at them as, various isolated problems, isolated events, etc. And the point is that now, when I started to understand from this doctor's perspective, I had a different insight. Now, one of the key points that was highlighted, that again, I'm going to highlight as well, is she said that when she was doing her medical residency as a doctor, there were times when she would do rounds and the elder doctors would say, oh, that's a WW case. And that meant a whining woman case. Yes, ladies, that is how your doctors were naming you and labeling you. Whiny woman. Those women that were coming in premenopause or menopause saying, I have all these problems, and none of the doctors were addressing them. They were just writing prescriptions for Valium, calling them crazy, or putting them on psych drugs and telling them that they were bipolar. Okay? And guess what? All those women had menopause issues and symptoms, but nobody was connecting the dots properly at that time. So there's a huge generation of doctors that were literally dismissing women that were having actual menopause symptoms in peri or premenopause and during menopause and postmenopause. And if the doctors had looked and connect the dots, they could have prescribed estrogen or progesterone or whatever other supplements or things that would help women during that time period, or to educate them that these things are going to happen. But the point is, like all studies, the information, they want to suppress the information, because what do most doctors and hospitals and large corporations want? They want money, which means they want reoccurring patients, which means that they're going to tell you whatever they're going to tell you because they want you to keep being a patient. They want you to have problems. They want you to have health problems. However, this particular medical doctor, Mary Claire Havar, whatever, she took it upon herself when she did her specialization in OBGYN that she wanted to investigate and research this whole menopause thing and find out what was really going on. And as she started to uncover her research, she started to connect the dots, and she started to see that all these different issues that women were complaining about are all related to menopause. Now, I can tell you about having a frozen shoulder. I can tell you about, having different, fingers lock up. I can tell you about brain fog and ADHD, and I can tell you about, like walking into the room and just totally not even remembering what I walked in there for, and it was not even 30 seconds. That's how bad my memory could get. Like tripping and falling, not having stability like I used to. And mind you, I'm not like a normal average person that, I go to the gym a couple times a week or a couple times a month. Like, I was a professional yoga athlete, a Pilates athlete, a professional dancer. I danced with professional companies. And what I'm getting at is, with all that agility that I had over my entire lifetime, as a child, as a young adult, as a teenager, as an adult, the point is, once I hit that menopause thing, it's like my body fell apart because I wasn't receiving that estrogen and progesterone. Nobody told me about getting growth hormones or whatever. I never investigated that until literally finding out about this video. And what I'm getting at is that this whole idea that this is like this hidden truth that the medical doctors have not really been talking about. They've been shoving it under the carpet like whiny women. And I think of even the doctors that I have currently, or even within the past, 10 years, that when I would go to them saying, this is really weird. I got this frozen shoulder thing. I can't, I can barely walk up, a couple feet, and I feel like I'm completely unstable. And all of these things, it's like once you hit 35, forget it. All bets are off. Every woman will be struggling with these issues. And then you think of all the men that are trying to support their women with all of these chronic complaining issues that the women are talking about, that you know, their belly fat, all around the belly fat. Where did it come from? And this, you know, arm jiggle. Like, I have muscles, like huge muscles from all the years of yoga, and it's just arm jiggle, okay? And I could literally walk like I'm on this trail today for like 3-5 miles a day, okay? And even with all that walking, the scale will still say a higher number than I want it to say with all the walking. You know, my diet has not dramatically changed, but somewhat changed. And I look at it and I'm like, how can it be that, you know, from having a vegan diet to then adding meat to my diet, that all of a sudden, like, you know, I can't get past this plateau? Like, what is going on? So what I'm getting at is, as I look at my own issues that I'm struggling with, and, you know, insomnia, and I could go on, you know, these are all the different menopause symptoms that other women out there that you may be experiencing. And here's the thing, you're not crazy. And all of these things could very well be related to the whole idea that you don't have estrogen anymore. You don't have progesterone anymore. You don't have these things that were literally the fluid that kept your body and your system going great. And then all of a sudden they're not there anymore. And it's like, your body's like, I can't produce this or that because these other things aren't there. So it's like a missing function. Now, am I like saying that I have all the answers, or that I've done? I'm saying no. I literally just fell upon this video a couple days ago, excuse me, and I'm investigating my own research on this further within my local area to advocate for myself. So what I'm getting at is that, you know, I know other women that are struggling with these same things, the weight gain, especially around the belly area, the arm jiggle, the, you know, muscle, like just loss of muscle, collagen loss, all these things. And it's like hair thinning, just all of these numerous things that all of a sudden they just like stopped working. And then you think about, well, this could also be why so many men are turning to leave their wives of however many years, or leave their girlfriend or fiance, whatever, because there's a younger model over here that is not going through menopause. They're not going through all of these issues that are like all connected to this whole big picture. And then it's like, it just explains why the culture is the way that it is on top of all that, meaning that men don't want to wait around and deal with the problems that women are dealing with, so they just decide, I'm going to go out for a younger model. And then if you look at the fact that men are going to keep producing sperm, and they can keep producing and generating another, you know, next family or whatever that's younger than, you know, the current family they have, you understand how this can get so crazy. Now, is it in alignment with God's laws? No. Is that what I'm advocating? No. I'm just speaking of what is happening right now, and I'm seeing the connection, the possible connection of what is going on and what's going on wrong in our world. Now, why women were basically, you know, I'm going to say cursed to have these losses of this magnitude, I don't know. But are there ways to compensate? It appears as though there are. And it appears as though there's multiple protocols that you need to be putting in place. Now, I can tell you that, you know, having the lights dark, you know, in the latter part of the evening is helpful to me. You know, having the room cooler, you know, not drinking water after a certain time to minimize the number of times getting up to go to the bathroom to pee. I'm just saying, like, there's so many variables that you don't know until you're in it, and you're just like, geez, I feel like I'm an 80-year woman and I'm in my 50s. And, you know, sometimes it's disturbing, and it's depressing. And at the same time, it's like the energy that I had in my 20s and 30s, and even in my 40s, there's such a jump in the just in the mental ability, the physical ability, and I'm just saying, if I'm experiencing this and other women are experiencing this, and I have other friends that are experiencing this, you know, and then this doctor is basically confirming all these different things, and meanwhile I'm going to all these specialists for this shoulder issue and this ankle issue and this, you know, nutrition issue and this weight, you know, trainer to, you know, help me lose weight. You get what I'm saying? It's like there's all these other variables that I'm going to all these different people, when in fact I should be going to one person to deal with it, a woman that understands the woman's body. And anyway, like I said, I don't have it all figured out. I'm just kind of sharing with you what I understand thus far. And I'm saying that I feel like it's God's way of saying, you know, you know, connect the dots. There's something here. And, you know, God always creates an escape plan. He always creates victory. It's just we have to be patient in the process. And also, you know, when I think of, you know, just how incredibly flexible and strong my body was, and that, you know, now I'm fighting so much against all the injuries in order to get back to that level of strength, and not because I'm lazy, but because I have all these other counteracting injuries that are part of an accident, that are part of injuries, that are part of falls. And then when they all kind of work together, you know, there's limitation on what I can do with my body compared to what I was able to do before. And then when I see all the connection with the menopause, that the muscle loss and all these other things that are, you know, the bone density loss and all these other problems that are going on simultaneously that I wasn't really aware of until I understood the medical part of it, it's like, wow, you know. And, you know, the emphasis to focus on weightlifting and strength training. And even though that is part of what I have been focusing on, it still comes back to that when you have certain injuries, they need to be repaired before you push them to the next level. Because if you push yourself too fast, then you could re-injure yourself, and then, you know, you increase your duration of healing time. So, and again, I've done that. So type A personality, you want to get it done, you know. So anyway, I just wanted to share this with you. I will link in the different videos that are with this Dr. Marie Claire Halva, and if you could share them with other women, that whether that's your sisters, your friends, your mother, your cousins, whatever, I think it will be helpful to kind of like connect the dots on, this is why we're feeling all these things, and we shouldn't feel bad about it because genetically this is what's happening to us. And yeah, so there you go. I hope that helps. Have a good afternoon.